Hey everybody, David Scrick here. Chart of the day. It's gonna be a short one today, but it's gonna be a fun one. So we're not gonna do it. We're gonna do a chart, but a chart of a different kind. We're gonna do the election odds because it's kind of interesting. What's happened is we're gonna go look at this. So this is Polymet. It's actually this is I retweeted this, but this is a little bit old, and you can see Trump has really surged here. Like I said, I try not to offend people's politics. Some people take their politics rather seriously. But what we've seen here, just talking as kind of an outsider, is I this is my personal belief. You can disagree with me, you can yell at me in the comments, you can yell at me in an email, you can do whatever you want, right? If you have my WhatsApp or text, you can text me. Is that I feel they were trying to hide Harris, sort of like they were hiding Biden, in the basement or whatever you want to call it, the last election, because I think she's a little hindered in the department up there, if you get my hint. And then there's the whole thing too. Like I find the irony that, the whole thing where we're trying to save democracy and you put someone in who couldn't even win a delegate, in the nomination and didn't have an open convention. How is that saving democracy, right? So I think even if you're a Democrat, you might even agree with that. So then, and don't even get me started on this Waltz guy. Oh my God, that guy. He's a knucklehead. He said it himself. So anyhow, so what we can see here are the odds here. So these kind of the longer term chart kind of shows you, and of course Harris went way up because that's after the debate, and then she became nominee, and then she was perceived to win that debate, and that's when she kind of flipped. And at one point, she she never got more than 7 points ahead. You can see in Polymed, she never got more than 53-46, and I think part of the reason is if you go look at the polling in the swing states, Trump always stayed close, even when he was kind of like falling behind. The national polls don't mean much to me because really I would think the Democrats have to win by 3 to 4 points because they win so overwhelmingly in these big population states like New York, like California, and Washington's now a pretty big population state. They win so overwhelmingly in those states that they have to win those swing states. So like even if Harris wins by 2 points nationally, she'd probably lose the election because only winning by 2 points means the swing states would probably go to Trump. And now they're equal nationally, which I think really favors Trump. So what I want to look at as a charting standpoint, though, is this is it on a real clear polling. So it's not quite as high here. Here it's 40, 55, 45, 44, right? So it's not quite as high here. But like being a chartist and seeing elections in the past, Trump, he surged after the debate when Biden fell apart, and then he fell here, and now he's coming back. But elections don't usually do that. Like, okay, you can maybe have one dip and then come back like Trump is, but like usually when you have a surge like Harris did, and now you're below him, and you see all these battleground states. Trump is up in all of them, and here's the thing. Trump usually outperforms I think conservatives usually outperform, even conservatives in England, even though they got wiped out, outperform for two reasons. I think the way the media is now becoming so left, people are now ashamed to say they're voting for conservatives, especially like a populist like Trump. And then so they just don't say it. And I think also conservatives, libertarians don't want to like talk to pollsters. They're kind of more private about the information. I know me being kind of a libertarian conservative, what do you want to call me? I'm like that. So, and also if we go look at some of these states here, you can see this last Rasmussen, Trump's up three. Okay, this New York Times one, Harris is up three, but like Trump is virtually up in all these recent ones. Like a lot of these ones, now this is starting to wane, are up because like in August and the first half of September, which still are included in these averages, Harris was up. Like look at the North Carolina, perfect example. Last time she was up in North Carolina was this September one here. Trump's up in every single one. And if you go look at like again last year's election, I'm a bit of a political buff. Even though Trump lost some of these states like Georgia, like Michigan, he outperformed the polls by 2 to 3%. So if that happens again, these places where he's up 0.5% or 1%, like again, look at Arizona outside of the Wall Street Journal poll, which is only 600 people, by the way. Five of the last six polls. And again, look, Harris is up. These polls that ended 2, 3 weeks ago for the most part, right? So Trump is up. And I always look at the largest polls and the two largest polls out of 1,000 people, because that makes, the margin of error smaller. he's still up within the margin error in two of them, but he's up on most of these things, right? So I think if he does, so this continues. And I think, like again, I talked about Harris being in the kind of being hid, but then they did it. They didn't realize that wasn't working. They did this media campaign, and I was watching. I don't know if any of you guys watch Valuetainment. And those guys are pretty conservative, so that's the bias there. But they talked about like how Harris is boring. It's just say, "Oh, I'm from a middle class family," and this and that, and that's the issue. Like Bill Clinton's, they were saying that Obama, they're kind of like interesting people and engaging to listen to, whether you like them or don't like them. Trump obviously is the same way, and they're saying one problem is that Harris is boring, so people are kind of like disengaged. I don't know. You can agree with that, but that is a point to be made here. But I'm just saying, as a pure chartist, Trump looks like a stock that base is now breaking out, and Harris looks like a stock that top's now breaking down. And it's very difficult to like, especially in elections, especially when only today is 3 weeks exactly to the date of the election. It's very different. It's very difficult, just like a stock that's breaking down. It's very difficult to reverse that trend. So that's all I wanted to show you. And of course, that changes some things because, some things like, for example, if we look at, sorry, let's just quickly look at like ALB. You can see kind of like rolling over here. Like I've said, this might be a short going into the election now because EV mandates will be gone and solar and green mandates will be gone. Like First Solar looks like it's about to break down. Might be an excellent short right here. So it's like that changes some of these things because you can see, look at the gap up First Solar had when it went from just over $2 to $240. It's a huge move. This was like a 15% move in one day, right? And now it's giving away that back and more. And like I'm saying, this looks like it's topping. Now I'm always apprehensive to short stocks when they're like that, but like let's look at Canadian Solar. This is actually a company I would think about buying because it's very cheap. But same thing. Look at this move it had, and the move started when Harris perceived to win the debate, and now it's rolling over. So this is like how this affects sectors. And of course, like if you look at something like, I don't know, Exxon, okay, it's down today because oil prices are down a lot, but like drill baby drill, or what do you want to call it, may help under Trump. The only issue now is with the global economy cooling. I don't know if drill is going to work because, first of all, the U.S. already produces 13 million barrels of oil a day, and how much oil drilling is going to be ramped up if, say, oil falls to $60 a barrel. But anyhow, that's a discussion for another time. I just wanted to show you again, like again, if we just didn't know what this was, right? And it was like you just thought if these were charts, you would think again, Harris was a chart that is topping out and rolling over, and Trump is a chart that's bottoming and going higher. So I don't know if he'll go all the way up to this, but like again, this kind of like 50, I guess in a polymet, it's not like 58 41, right? You see, this is just polymet has a, oh yeah, you can see it here. Like, so it's 58 41, 58 and a half, almost to 41 and a half. So, and you can see the volume, it's pretty liquid, dollar volumes $567 million. It's not like this is like a small thing, right? And Harris is 384 million. So this thing trades like $1 billion. It's traded like the volume is $1.9 billion actually total, right? So it's like this thing trades. It's not like an illiquid market, right? So so that's kind of where we're going. And I think this kind of failed media campaign by Harris is the reason why. But again, I just want to look from the chart point of view, and you can see it again affecting markets. You can see these green energy stocks kind of rolling over, and maybe the stocks that are considered more pro-Trump. Let's look at let's look at problem with Boeing is they have a strike and they have all kinds of other crap going on right now. But they are a military contractor, so Boeing might be a stock to look at in the short term as a play because they do have a lot of regardless if Trump gets out of the wars, he's still going to ramp up some military spending and until the debt gets out of control. But anyhow, that's basically it. And of course, like even things like housing and those kind of things in the short term might look good because Trump is going to put more pressure on the Federal Reserve to cut rates faster. He's even on record saying the president should have a say in interest rates along with the Fed. So I don't know if he'll be able to do that, but like he's going to pressure them at the very least. So anyhow, I thought this was interesting. It's a fun way to look at politics as a chart. So I hope you all enjoy this. Don't get offended by anything I've said. Like, don't take it too seriously. And I think I'm being pretty down the middle. I'm just saying this is my perception of what they were doing and then what has happened, you know? And it's not like Trump has run a great campaign. He was pretty abysmal in that debate. And the things about eating cats and dogs and regardless of some of that's true or not, it was pretty ridiculous. It was a pretty dumb issue to like bring up in a debate. So it's like whatever, right? It's like I don't think either have run good campaigns, but it probably in the end it's that Harris has done worse. And this is her history. This is what happened when she ran for the Democratic nomination. She looked good at first, and then she always wears on people. So anyhow, and she's just like I don't know. It's because she's just a bunch of fluff and nothing, in my opinion. But again, I don't want to offend any people. I'm not care about left wing, right wing. I'm just talking about just the way she speaks and carries herself. Okay, well, I thought I had fun with that. I'm gonna put this up. It's around 2:30. Also for paying members, notice I just put out a trade alert with this. That's just an email, so please check your email. And if you're a paying member and you're not getting because some of these email alerts, I just put an email. Don't post to the site. So basically, like please email me at addictedtoprofits@hotmail.com or davidskreek@gmail.com, and I'll add you to the email list. Everybody, take care.